What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel, and as always, I appreciate all the love and support. In today's video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about where I'm at so far with Prime and what the status is of the motor so far, how far I've gotten. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start the video right here, and then I'm going to switch the scenes, and we're going to go downstairs to the garage. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my G7X Mark II and get some footage so that way I can show you guys where I'm at as far as what I've taken apart and all that good stuff. So enough talking, let's just go straight to the garage and then go from there. Let's get it. All right, here we go, you guys. So I am currently in front of the car. There it is right there. As you can see, I got a couple things removed, which is right now I took off one of the pieces that was back here that, you know, covered the back of the motor, obviously the engine cover, the strut bar, the strut tower bar. I had to get that out of the way. A couple things that I did notice from the motor, because in the front right here it keeps getting an oil leak that's coming down on the splitter, and I keep wiping it. And also on this side I used to get an oil drip right over here, which would kill me because I don't want it to ruin the wrap, you know what I mean? So I always have to keep an eye on it, but it's stopped leaking as of right now. But if you look from this side, there's some of the drips right over here. I don't know if it's coming up on camera, but right over here there's some oil marks, which I'm going to clean up. Up here there's some oil marks. It splashed all inside over here. It was all over the front of the glass right here. I mean, it just literally this thing popped off right here. This cap right here popped off from pressure, and it just literally all the oil came out. So I put some more oil in it. What the plan is okay, so I'm going back to the original cap that used to be on there, but this like vacuum line, this line right here, goes to the supercharger right up front right there. It goes to the supercharger. So I said, you know, how do I work this line right here, because where does it go to? And he said that it goes to the back of the motor, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, that's like the PCV valve where you plug it in, something like that. So what I'm gonna do is I'm probably gonna need a longer hose, which is not a problem. And then I already ordered the original OEM cap because that one is gone. I don't even know where that's at. Once I installed the supercharger, they kept it at the shop. Obviously I never got that back. But the first thing that I did was I started removing, because when I would start the car, it would shake a little bit, right? The engine would be shaking a little bit. So the first thing I wanted to do was check on the spark plugs. So looking at the spark plugs, I'm gonna try to capture this on here. Looking at the spark plugs, so I got them in order on here on this little rag. So this is the front one, the middle one, and the back one on the passenger side. So I'm gonna start from the back, working my way to the front. So if you look at, I don't know, man, because it's gonna try to focus on the car. Let me see. Will you focus on this? What I'm gonna do. So I tried to get it to capture the actual plug itself, so I can show you guys up close what it is, but it keeps trying to capture my face. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna post it up right over here, so that way you guys can see. The first one that I had removed, it was dry. The second one that I had removed, it was pretty dry, which is pretty normal. That's normal for the car. And then the third one that I put on there, you'll see right over here. I'm gonna hold it there for just a moment, and it's really oily. So that would be this one right there. It was covered in oil, and this is the one that was in the front, which is right there. That one right there in the front. So there's the front one, the middle one, and the back one. So that's the first thing I did, was remove the spark plug so I could see, and then I noticed right away that there's oil on there. So the moment I found out that there was oil on there, the one thing I'm hoping it's not, I hope it's not a bad piston ring, so that way we don't have to go digging deep in there. Hopefully the oil that might be in there, once you get new spark plugs, it should hopefully clean itself. So we're gonna take this back up to the room, so that way I can get in front of the other camera, and then we can go from there. I just wanted to show you guys what I'm doing so far, where I'm at, what I've opened up. I didn't want to take off this top piece right here and take off the manifold and get deeper inside. I don't want to do that just yet. I wanted to start with the spark plugs first, because when it happened, I cut the car off right away, so that way I'm not driving it with no oil. Even though when you use synthetic oil, it you know, it has this like lubricant where texture where it just still stays in there, so that way it can give you a little bit of time. But what also I'm gonna double check once I put the spark plugs in. Once I start the car, there's like a little slippage sound from the belt or something like that, and I don't know if it's because oil has hit it and the belt moved over one rib. I don't know if that's the case, but I definitely will bring the belt back one rib to the right where it's like right at the edge, and I think that's how it was before. So we'll give it a shot, and if not, then I'll put it back to the way it is right now. But let's go back upstairs so that way I can explain more upstairs, because I'm trying to go back inside the house. Let's go. As you guys could see in that video, I've started out taking just some pieces off from the top of the motor. Nothing too crazy just yet. The goal is to hopefully just change out the spark plugs, and then hopefully that cleans up the oil that might be down there in that one spark plug that's up front, and then hopefully the car runs more smooth from there. If that solves the problem, the oil, well, the smoke, I should say, that's coming out the tailpipes, if that is the issue and I haven't fried the piston rings or anything like that, if that is the issue, the oil should disappear on its own. The smoke should disappear on its own from the heat, right? So even if the car comes back to normal the way it was before, and you know, all the lights go away, like yesterday when I gave it a cold start, the lights were off. The only thing that was happening now was it wasn't flashing anymore, my service engine light. It was actually just sitting there saying service engine light. So after like maybe 20 seconds, because what I did was I scanned the file, sent it over to Tracy Lewis, and that way, you know, he sells the kit out of Florida, and he's partners with Will out there in Canada, and so they both have the kit, they both provide the kit, and I reached out to both of them. And Tracy, I said, you know what, I'm gonna send you the file. If you can review it, let me know what you see so far. Once I did that, after maybe like 30 seconds of the car running, it did end up turning on the stability control again. So all that stuff lit right back up. Then I knew the file was on its way. That's when I opened up the car and I looked under the hood, and I started taking little pieces here and there off. So I took the coil packs off. I checked all the spark plugs. All 5 of them, since there's 6, all 5 of them were pretty much completely dry, normal, especially with the miles that I've put on the car in the last almost 3 years. I've put at least 30,000 miles easy on the car with the supercharger on there, with the traveling and all the stuff that I do with it for all these shows. So they've held up pretty well, to be honest with you. And just like I showed you guys in the camera where you've seen the dry one compared to the oily one, I definitely want to make sure that it hopefully solves the problem. That's going to be my first step. Now, if that does clean it up and it is good to go, the car does drive like it did a week ago or a week and a half ago, I'm still going to take it to a mechanic, because even though I'm solving one problem that occurred now, doesn't mean I'm solving the original problem that was always there. The original problem that was always there was it had an oil leak, right? And I couldn't find where it's coming from. So that's still going to happen. I still got to end up taking the car to a mechanic to find the oil leak, which solving the oil leak shouldn't be as big deal as if you don't know if you blew the motor on the car. So that's a whole different story, right? So the whole purpose of it is to make sure that the motor ain't gone. And then after that, we go from there. So as long as the car can drive, it's drivable, we're good to go. I mean, I've had the oil leak for a little bit of time now, and I literally drove the car all the way to Texas, knock on wood, with no issues at all. And, you know, I've driven it to Vegas, Cali. You know, it's a small oil leak, but, you know, and these things happen. As the cars get older, they get these oil leaks. So we're going to find out what that is. We're going to solve that issue as well. And hopefully Prime will be all good to go and back to normal. So that way I can continue my focus on the ZL1. That is the goal here, you guys. The goal is 10,000 Priminators, 10,000 subs on YouTube, and then bring home the ZL1 at the same time. So that way we can have Prime V2. And then Prime V1 can just sit at the house and just relax, take a breather. The only time people will see that car is either pictures or videos, or maybe really big events. That's the only time it'll come out, once I have the ZL1, because all my focus will go into building the ZL1. So for now, I just want to leave you guys with this video, let you know what I did so far, and then I'll shoot another video letting you guys know the next steps. I already ordered the spark plugs. They come in on Tuesday. And then once I get them in on Tuesday, I'll do another video so I can show you guys what happens when I start the car on camera. So we'll go from there, man. If this is your first time on my page, I appreciate all the love and support coming to the page, checking out what I have going on. If you go down there and click on my name, you can view the other videos that I currently have with everything else that I've done with Prime, between all the wraps, installing the supercharger, traveling, card shows, all kinds of fun stuff, man. I try to post as much of stuff that I can that I've accomplished with the car, and this is just another speed bump that was in the way like I've gone through before. So it doesn't stop us here, as long as the man upstairs keeps giving me these opportunities to continue to push, and all the love and support that I get from you guys, I'm going to continue to give you guys that. So be sure to give the video a thumbs up. Be sure to leave a comment down below. First time on the page, hit that subscribe button, show your boy some love. And in the meantime, between time, DILLA, Promenade up, out. Peace.
Always send.